is new again, walking with a permagrin, head so high. I'm back with you and all is right. Shaking on the apple tree, ticking off the honeybees, watch them fly. It's just like we never said goodbye.
Hey guys, what's up? It's NihonTiger. Welcome back to NeoCraft server. And today we are busy working on some new stuff here. This is actually the Cathedral, and I'm working on the top of it today. So I figured this would be a good place to start, and I really wanted to get started working on the Cathedral as well. But let's see here. If I remember how to do this, I'm looking off some screenshots that I took previously to try and figure out how I had this all set up. Oh, I don't want to do that because that'll make it hard for me to. Oh, there goes the super defenses too. Dang it! I'm trying to figure out how I had this. It's basically what I'm doing right now is setting everything up as far as the stairs and the ornaments, I guess you call it, on the outside look. I'm pretty sure this is how I had it done. Are these curving? Okay, no, they're flat. Okay, that's fine. So I just want to make sure, and it's also kind of late, so I'm trying to be a little bit quiet and not be too loud. Don't want to wake up neighbor man and have him all angry at me, you know. So here I am. I'm perched precariously on top of my own cathedral, and for the record, I should mention too, the name of the build, what I'm calling it the Cathedral, is because it looks like a cathedral when you look at it from down there. It's a very large building. It was supposed to be, I guess, the armory for Katzegard, if I remember right, and I never ended up using it for that because it ended up being too small of a building. I was going to put all my storage and stuff in here, but I chose not to ultimately, and I think I don't regret that. I think this will look really nice, but I don't have a use for it right now, and I've got to find one. So let's see how this looks. I'm also flipping back and forth real quick here every once in a while through my screenshots just to make sure I know what I'm doing. So that's supposed to be a slab, not a slab, but stairs. So let's see here. Oh, this is actually not even finished. I didn't get all the way around with the blocks. But yeah, this is what we're going to be working on today and tomorrow. And the next episode, not this one, the one that comes after this one, is a very special landmark on my channel. It's 1,000 videos. It'll be my 1,000th video, actually, will be that particular video. So I'm very excited about that, and I'll talk way more in detail about that next time. But I'll talk a lot about what it means to me, you know, how much hard work it's been, and a lot of stuff. I'm sure it'll be a very interesting discussion about what it means to hit 1,000 videos on YouTube, and I'm still kind of trending toward getting 1,000 subs pretty soon too. I actually passed the 950 mark recently, so that's very cool. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me and is watching my videos and enjoying them. I always appreciate that. All the torches. Huh. Oh, I gotta put this one more here too. But yeah, again, real nice look up here from Katzegard. The snowman's gotta go. The snowman, I'm sorry, Rikui. I know the snowman's been up there for such a long time, but it's gotta come down. It's almost it is springtime, actually. It is springtime. I should mention that. Maybe that's what we could talk about today. Because springtime for me, springtime is, I know for a lot of people they have seasonal affective disorder. I think that's what do they call it, SAD, which is, by the way, probably one of the most appropriate names for a specific, I don't know, a specific thing, like a medical thing ever, because obviously the acronym is SAD, but it's a serious disease, and I know I have friends who kind of suffer with it, and depression is kind of a tough thing to get through. I've got friends who I don't want to name anyone's name or anything like that. I don't want to say, oh, I know my friend so and so is going through depression, and I don't want to be the person who's spilling all their stuff onto the internet, because that just seems rude to me. I mean, I wouldn't want people to do the same to me. So I feel like it's best if people talk about their own issues when it relates to depression and other mental issues or anxiety related things. But I've talked about my past. I've talked about the anger issues I had as a child. I know I've mentioned too before that if you have an issue, this is a good reminder. If you have an issue, don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Don't be afraid. I know a lot of people too are afraid, especially if you're young. You're really afraid that people will judge you badly, or they'll think someone will think, oh well, that person's just crazy because they're going to a shrink for something. I definitely would not say anyone's crazy for going and getting help. That's something that more people, I think, should do. I think there's too much of a stigma associated with mental illness, and people don't understand it. But depression and things like addiction is a really serious issue around here. I don't have friends who have addiction issues. I have friends who have I guess you could say maybe some of them have addiction issues with certain games. I know sometimes too I've even had addiction issues with games where I've had to say, okay, I gotta quit this game. I can't play this game for a week. I have to separate myself from this because I've been playing so much of Game X lately that I'm not doing other things. I'm kind of being careless about it, and it affects me, of all people. Someone who's very good at kind of managing these things. I've been sucked into games sometimes, and there's a difference between being sucked into a game and really enjoying it for a couple hours, and spending every waking hour of your day wanting to play a game like it's some kind of drug you're addicted to. And like I know Minecraft has never really been that kind of game for me, where it's been I have to play it, I have to keep playing it, I have to do this forever and ever and ever. But there's other games where it's certainly been that way for me. There's games where I've gotten hours and hours and hours logged into it, and I want to keep playing, but I realize that hey, it might be the weekend, but I've been playing this game for 5 hours. I haven't even eaten breakfast or brushed my teeth, and this was when I was a little bit younger, and I was out on my own for the first time, and I would have the weekends to myself, and I had decent internet, and I would end up playing some MMO or something for a really long time on a day, and I look at my clock and I realize, hey, I was going to do something today, and sometimes I would literally kind of blow whatever I was going to do off. Like I was going to be, oh, well, I could just go to the store tomorrow, or don't worry about it. You can just call and let mom know how you're doing tomorrow, instead of making her wake up at like 11 o'clock at night because you forgot to call her because you're an idiot. But addiction is something that it's been on my mind lately, because recently around here we had it ties into the depression stuff I was talking about too, with being a stigma. We had a house that was going to go into a neighborhood somewhere, and they were going to use it for treating people who were kind of, well, not like treating people who were addicted to heroin at the time, but they were people who had gone through the programs and the processes of going through their rehab, and they were women. There was also going to be a house for men, but the first house was going to be for women who maybe had kids and whatnot, and they were going to be trying to assimilate back into the real world. And a bunch of people raised a stink about it, and they were not happy that they were going to be building this place in their neighborhood because they were worried about stupid things. A lot of them said they were worried about the property value of their home. Other people said they were really worried about drugs coming into their community. I'm like thinking, these people are not going to be probably doing drugs, but whatever. You know, you're free to assume things about people that probably are false, but I cannot tell you that you're wrong. Everyone has a right to believe what they believe, even if it's not something I would agree with. It doesn't necessarily make it right, but whatever. I'm not trying to judge people. But, you know, they would say all these things about what the house was going to bring, kind of bad things it was going to bring, and eventually the local health board, or the mental health board, who was in charge of all this, decided to kind of relent, and they also decided to sell the house back to the community group that was set up to oppose this. And we were talking to him afterwards, and it was like, all right, you know, you're not going to build it in your neighborhood, so they might be looking elsewhere. Is that going to be something that you guys are going to go ahead and fight if they do that? And they're like, well, we don't know. Well, maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll see. And it kind of made me depressed a little bit that people are, you know, fighting this stuff. They're fighting things that even they agreed were good ideas. They were just really upset that it was in their neighborhood. But so many people were like, yeah, it's a really great idea. Just don't build it anywhere near me because I don't want those druggies anywhere, you know, around my kids. And to me, I feel like that's almost a big problem that we have here in the U.S. is there's very much, for those of you that don't know, there's a lot of people in jail. And, you know, some of them probably are people who can be, I guess, rehabilitated. And they might come out of jail and they might say, okay, I'm going to try and, you know, live my life well, and I've learned my lesson, and I'm just trying to measure this up. But a lot of times, the problem, I think, really is, this goes with the drug stuff I was talking about, where people are, like, you know, trying to get out of rehab, and there's always this stigma that follows you around where it's like, you know, once a criminal, always a criminal, or people are like, you know, once you get addicted to drugs once, you'll always be addicted to them, and you'll never be able to break that habit, and I can never trust you. And it becomes very hard for a lot of these people to find work and have a life that's normal. So a lot of people do end up committing crimes again, and that kind of makes us the people who are like, oh, see, I told you those people were bad news, you know. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of getting on my soapbox here, because it really disturbs me that we just judge people so much, you know, whether it's mental issues, and people say, oh, well, this person has some kind of mental issue, that must mean they're crazy. I don't ever want to associate myself with this person. I should probably put this crafting table down. But they're like, I shouldn't associate myself with this person. They might snap and go crazy on me, or they might, you know, they might get all depressed and sad and whatnot. I don't know why you would do that, why you would say that, but, you know, there are people that hold these ideas, unfortunately, that, you know, that these things can't be fixed, that you can't, you know, other than, you know, heavily medicating people, which is absolutely a terrible idea. You don't just want to give people a bunch of pills and be like, there, you're better, you know, all better, everything's fixed. But it's like putting someone in jail for 20 years and not teaching them any new skills or any way to help get themselves out. Like, oh, you're fixed. You went to jail, and now you're all better, and you're definitely still not violent at all or anything like that. Because I tend to be a little bit optimistic about just... Is this only one there? I think it's only one. But I tend to be a little bit optimistic, and I'm trying to duplicate this over there, but it's also more extended. I tend to be a little bit optimistic about how I perceive people, and I definitely always believe that people can change for the better. I think there's very few people in the world. There are some people who are absolutely, you know, you can't change them. They have some kind of issue or something, and it's just too much. Like people who, like there are people who like do absolutely unspeakably terrible things, and those people, the kind of the horrible things that you don't really want to mention. And there are those people that can't really assimilate back into, society very well. And so you kind of have to be like, well, we got to do something where we can at least make sure that if these people are, going to be a danger to others, that they're at least somewhere that's safe where they can get help. That, hopefully maybe will make them a little less prone to do the bad things that they want to do. But, I think a lot of people, especially for people who do like very small crimes and whatnot, like maybe a guy who steals a sandwich or something and he goes to jail for 6 months and they can't find a job afterwards because it's like a felony conviction or something. And a lot of times when you have those strikes against you, to me it always feels like there's nothing you can really do to help those people. And I want to do something, I want to see people do more to help people who are hurting. And a lot of times people do these things, they will do something terrible because they might be in a situation where they don't feel like they have a way out or something of that nature. I don't know. Let me see. How do I have this done? I think I had this like that. It's what, 1, 2, 3. But I don't know. I'm just rambling here at this point. Just sitting here thinking to myself tonight. It's kind of, what can I do to help people who are kind of, in that position where they might need some kind of help, or they might need just someone to believe in them, or believe that they can actually change and actually have some faith that they're not going to just immediately get out of jail or get out of rehab and just relapse right away. And a lot of people do. Not a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot of people relapse, but some people do relapse. And it takes getting yourself kind of weaned off anything takes a lot of rehab, not of rehab, but a lot of willpower and a lot of patience and understanding that, sometimes somebody might kind of have a moment where, they might have a moment where they get, really sad about something and they're trying to make themselves a better person. Maybe they get very angry at other people about something and they're trying to kind of work out their anger issues, and every once in a while maybe that person has a relapse, and instead of immediately running out and judging them and saying, well, obviously this means that so and so can never be trusted because they will just do terrible things again, or they'll just get angry at everyone again and cause a scene or something. I don't know, maybe we can all try to see what the good, not like the good, but like to see what kind of opportunity someone might be able to actually provide if they had a fair chance and a decent shot at being able to kind of get their life back on track after something serious, like going to jail or going through rehab. I don't know. I've just been thinking about this because of, as I mentioned, all the stuff that's been going on, and it really ticked me off. And it really does tick me off anytime I see someone who's saying nasty things about somebody who has depression, or terrible things about someone who's got some kind of other issue, and they're like, oh well, this person's just some kind of broken human being who doesn't really deserve a second chance. And I think everybody, except for, as I mentioned, those few people who commit especially heinous crimes, I feel like everybody deserves at least a chance to kind of give themselves another shot at life if they've kind of tried to reform themselves really well, and they've kind of tried to recover or overcome whatever their problem is. And I don't know, I'm in a preachy mood tonight, I'm sorry. But I've just been thinking about that a lot lately, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just our culture is like that, where it's like, hey, so and so doesn't really deserve another chance because they did X, Y, and Z, and they kind of screwed up. I'm thinking about how I want to do this over here, because it's going to be tricky with I don't want to interfere with the lava coming down too much. But yeah, it's just really tough on people to kind of get a second chance in life. It feels a lot of the times like we'll give, a celebrity a second chance. So if a celebrity gets caught, Lindsay Lohan gets caught, drinking and driving, some people are always just lining up to give her a second chance. And by the way, this is the path that Ranger built. Unfortunately, he didn't consult me before he did it, so this is not where I wanted it to go at all. We're gonna have a nice, I mean, not like I was gonna say we're gonna have a nice talk, and it sounds really terrible. Like, we're gonna have a talk about this, young man. No, we're just gonna have a chat about how I want this to kind of be a different way, and we're gonna fix it up and make it look really nice. But it's just I really wish that people were more considerate when it comes to other people's struggles, and dealing with the struggle of overcoming addiction, and dealing with the struggle of having a mental illness or depression or something else that they might be dealing with that's causing them a lot of I wouldn't say grief, but they're spending a lot of their energy and effort to kind of overcome these things, and you have people come in and just cut them down right away and say, I would never want to live next to these people. I would never want to be friends with this person because of X, Y, and Z. And to me, it's just, if you don't give people that second chance to kind of redeem themselves or actually prove that, hey, I can actually, do this without it being some kind of crippling issue that, keeps me inside all day. If you don't give that support and that hope to people, they don't have any hope whatsoever, and they will go back to whatever bad habits that they had. They will go back to whatever was working, whatever they thought was working for them to get rid of those fears or that anxiety, or to give themselves what they think is an opportunity. If someone goes to jail for dealing pot, let's say, for example, or for robbing bank. That's a better one. They go to jail for robbing a bank, and they get out of jail after like 10 years, and they want that second chance. They want a chance to prove themselves that they can actually, that they've learned their lesson. And where's that skeleton from? Oh, that's an interesting spot. Oh, you have spawned in a very interesting spot, sir. Let me take a screenshot of that, just so I know that. Ow, jeez. But yeah, if that guy or that woman, has to, doesn't get that second chance, then here, I'm gonna do this. Suck it. You're dead. I gotta fix that now. But but yeah, if they don't have that second chance to prove themselves, if every time they go to apply for a job, the answer is no, and they get a door slammed in their face, well, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go rob another bank or a store or something to get money, because they don't have enough money to live on, and B, it's the only thing they know how to do that anyone wants to give them the chance to do. And of course, they'll go back to jail for that, because they'll probably get caught. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. It's just been on my mind with all the stuff that's been going on around here, and I just feel like maybe, you give people a chance to do something, and give people a chance to become a better person, and maybe they do. Maybe some people don't, but I tend to believe that if you do things right with rehabilitating people, whether it's from addiction or from jail or whatnot, if you give people a chance, and you give them the opportunity to prove themselves, and they do, then there's a chance that maybe they don't go back to where the bad places that they were at before. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm sorry. I know it's probably not the most entertaining thing to talk about, and this was a little bit more of a serious episode than in the past, but thanks guys for watching. I just felt like I had to get that off my chest. It's been kind of rattling around my brain. But next time, episode 142, 1000th video, gonna be awesome. Really looking forward to celebrating that with you guys. So thank you for watching. Good luck, good mining, have fun, and I'll see you guys next time here on the NeoCraft server. Peace out.